Honorable Minister Sri Nidhin Jairam Khadkari sir has joined us. So on behalf of civilians, I wholeheartedly welcome our Honorable Minister to give the inaugural address. Please, sir.
Thank you. Mr. P.A. Vivekananda Pai, National Secretary of Vigyan Bharati, D.G. Sridevi, former Director of NATPC, Dr. S. Vijayan Pillai, Director, Naval Physical and Orographic Laboratory, Dr. V.N. Sanjeevan, President, Swadeshi Science Movement, A. Karin, General Secretary, Kerala Self-Financing Engineering College, Mr. Ravind C.K., General Manager, Civilian distinguished dignitaries, young engineers, and all my dear engineering students. I feel privileged to be a part of Forum Maza 3.0 of Swadeshi Science Movement, Kerala chapter of Vigyan Bharati, and other esteemed professional organizations. It gives me immense pleasure to address all young, talented, dynamic engineers present here on the occasion of National Engineers Day. As we all know, the Engineers Day is celebrated on the birthday of nation builder Bharat Ratna Vishweshwaraya on 15th September every year. On this Engineers Day, I would like to remember Sir M. Vishweshwaraya, the engineer of modern India. From Aden to Hyderabad, Sir Vishweshwaraya's civil engineering contribution are spread across the country and abroad. His engineering services were used in various capacities all across the country, including in building the Hirakud Dam in Odisha, a railway bridge across Ganga in Patna, and combating floods in Hyderabad, constructing the Himayat Sagar and the Osman Sagar reservoirs across the rivers, Musi and Isi, and preparation of the drainage scheme for the Hyderabad, Mysore, and Visakhapatnam city. He had developed innovative dam and irrigation system. Very passionate about the effective utilization of scarce of water resources for drinking and irrigation purposes, as well as flood control mitigations. He was known for his foresight and prophetic vision for industry was essential for alleviating poverty. Sir Vishweshwara was a firm believer that development alone can bring about prosperity for the people. I feel that it is the time इथे बस मला बोलायचं असेल वेगळं काही I feel that it is a important thing for the country that for making of future India, our engineering is most important thing for all of us. The world is changing. They are using different materials, different technology and innovation. I always talking to people that the innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skilled and successful practices. That is, we name it as knowledge and conversion of knowledge into wealth is the future. In the defense, in the road infrastructure, transport, shipping, port, aviation, everywhere. Now there is the technology is always changing. So it is the time for the country for making the future of this country. We need to concentrate more on research in engineering in all faculties. This is exactly our mission and vision. I always telling to people that you can donate eye, but you cannot donate vision. The engineers play a huge role in nation building. Modern India produced many engineers, including Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who took India to space, and E. Sridharan, the metro man of India. Both had a connection with Kerala. We have motivation, inspiration, and guiding light in form of such great engineers and their noble works in the country. I am not an engineer, but by experience, practical knowledge, discussion, and self-study, I can understand and give logical suggestions over many of the technical issues and conflicts that come across during any project. I always keep a positive and time-bound approach in problem solving. I say to fellow officials and engineers that do not break the law, but bend it up to the last limit and find out the solution. Work must go on through a win-win situation for all concerned stakeholders. The common man should not get hampered due to delays in the project. I feel very proud to be part of a mega project in India under my tenure, and credit goes to all engineers who work hard for making them unique. The Bandra Worli Sea Link project in Mumbai, the India's first, really, it's a big project. I'm really get pride for me that I got opportunity to construct that project. The first express highway in the country, that is Mumbai Pune Express Highway, then 55 flyovers in Mumbai. And at the time of Vajpayee, when he was the Prime Minister, I got opportunity to make Pradhana Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, the historical and flagship scheme of Government of India. The water conservation through Buldana pattern, that is also one of the great experience in my life. Multi-layer transport system with road, flyovers and metro rail bridge in Nagpur city. The 1300-kilometer long 12-lane Delhi-Mumbai Expressway is underway ongoing, and 22 greenfield access control expressways and 14.2-kilometer long Jojila Tunnel in Srinagar, Leh sector. Asia's longest tunnel, which is now under construction. Emergency aircraft landing field on National Highway is really a great satisfaction for me in my tenure. Robust road infrastructure is the backbone of the economic development of any country. My ministry, along with NHI and NHIDCL, is relentlessly engaged in nation building, and Indian roads are now at par with the international standards. We now hold the world record for the fastest road construction. The national highway construction rate is now 38 km per day, which is the highest ever in the world. We made it to Guinness World Record by building a 2.5-kilometer four-lane concrete road within 24 hours on the Greenfield Delhi Vadodara Mumbai 8-lane expressway project. We also built a single-lane 26-kilometer bitumen Solapur Bijapur road within 24 hours, and this is really the world record. This is amazing, and it shows that the engineers can do if they are committed and work together. The road infrastructure is being developed in the country with new technologies and new ideas. We have used machine control technology in the construction of the Lucknow Kanpur Express. For the first time, we have included the use of sensor-based technology in the tender process. The cement and steel industries have a monopoly in the market. They hike the prices through cartelization, and we need to minimize the use of cement and steel in construction work. We need to find a sustainable alternative for steel and cement. With Malaysian and Singapore technology using steel fiber, we can increase the span length up to 120 meters. This would save the cost of construction to one-third. Precast technology is also effective in cost and time saving. We need to standardize various precast components which can be precasted in the manufacturing and then can easily be installed at the site. The waste material is being utilized like plastic waste, steel slag, fly ash, construction and demolition waste, etc. in the road construction, and we need to explore or develop appropriate technology for their cost-effective and sustainable use in construction. The new technologies like recycled asphalt pavement, polymer modified bitumen, geogrid being also used in the national highway. The technology like LIDAR, and drone are being utilized for better monitoring during the planning and construction phase. The drone technology can also be widely used for agricultural application, whereby using it chemicals, pesticides can spread over the crops, drones, and can be used for product delivery. It can be also used as a taxi, which would be innovative mode of mobility. Post-construction monitoring with network survey vehicle, NSV, mobile bridge inspection unit is also being done by the executing agency of the ministry. We have adopted the whole life cycle cost approach in building roads. Construction of highway with greenfield alignments is preferred as it reduces the land acquisition cost, avoid displacement of habitation and utility shifting. The road building differs from place to place. In Kerala, because of its uniqueness of development, land costs are very high. There is urbanization along the national highway, and it is full of backwater and hills. As such, we have to plan roads that can be accommodated in the minimum land with adequate crossing facilities and structure intensive to cross rivers, backwater or hills. The use of local material is another area where we give emphasis. Rubber modified bitumen, use of coir, jute in road building are a few examples in the context of Kerala. The toll collection resulted in the lesser waiting time for the road users, avoids wastage of fuel, and increase the satisfaction level of the road users. The road safety is an important agenda in my mind, and therefore interchanges and grade separators are being provided wherever required to avoid the conflict of traffic. We are adopting artificial intelligence best technology to ensure safety on Indian roads. I have just launched a pilot project in Nagpur city. On one hand, we are taking advantage of technologies. On the other hand, engineers have to face challenges due to increasing complexity. Today, road building is not knowing aggregate and bitumen alone. A civil engineer should take care of the environmental concern, road safety aspects, and contract management and financial side, and whatnot. This is true for every sphere. Therefore, you have to upgrade your skill continuously. In a continuous effort to the technologies to reduce the cost of construction, NH has awarded 27 research projects to various IITs, NITs in the country, the outcome of which will pave the way for road construction with lesser costs with new technologies. Recently, we witnessed few failures. We must learn from such mistakes and rectify them in future similar work. Our government is committed to the development of world-class infrastructure in the country. We have already allotted rupees 111 lakh crores through the National Infrastructure Pipeline Program. And soon we are launching the National Master Plan of Prime Minister Gati Shakti to further expedite holistic and integrated infra development. This step will result in new employment opportunities for lakhs of engineers in the coming years. Friends, I always say innovation, entrepreneurship, science, technology, research, skill, and successful practices, we call it as a knowledge. And conversion of knowledge to wealth is the future. Technology is changing rapidly worldwide. We should be well aware and keep eye on global technological development and innovations. Along with the professional education, we need to acquire demanding market skills and undergo training on advanced tools and software. We need to adopt the world's best technology and practices that are suitable to the Indian context. Moreover, dear building engineer, your interest matters a lot. Do introspect, identify your strength, weaknesses, linking, and liabilities. This should help you to choose the right career path. No doubt, earning is important, but being happy and satisfactory in life is more important. We must stay away from non-ethical, illegal practices at work. We should never support corruption. We should be loyal, sincere, and dedicated to assigned responsibility. Being an authority, we should be prompt in the quick decision-making process. You have to take a bold decision too. A self-performance audit makes you more perfect. Prime Minister had rightly said that our youths are techno-savvy and can do generation every time new ideas, new thinking, and new experiments are expected from you. You should be open but smart and intellectually enough to accept my any proposals and technology. Social, economic, and environmental viability and impact assessment study are very important at all developmental stages of the project. The cost of degradation of ecology and environment is never be accepted. There should be minimum carbon footprints and exploitation of available resources during the execution and operation of any project. Waste to wealth, waste to energy is one of the important sustainable solutions to tackle environmental issues. The municipal wastewater can be used for electricity generation. Being a minister, I am committed to adopting import substitute, cost effective, pollution free, and indigenous transport fuels. I am promoting the use of alternative clean and green fuels like ethanol, methanol, biodiesel, bio-CNG, LNG, electricity, and green hydrogen. The technology is available to convert food grains, sugarcane, molasses, into bioethanol, which can be used as an alternative fuel for transport. There is a need for research and development in low-cost electric vehicle battery technology, electrolyzers, alternative fuel compatible engines, and many other related technologies. We need to develop and adopt renewable energy, solar, wind, tidal, and biomass-based technologies in domestic and industrial application. The green hydrogen is the potential and cleaner source of energy. We need to find technology for its generation, storage, and transportation for mass application. We can use it as a source of fuel in steel, fertilizer, mining, and mobility industry by large. Research performed by IIT Madras on hydrogen fuel cells is very interesting, where they are trying to generate energy from sea-based salt water and solar power. There is a lot of job opportunities in the renewable energy sector. Being educated and learned human beings, it is our responsibility to contribute something for the betterment of our people, our society, and the country. There are village, tribal, rural, and agricultural communities and 115 aspirant districts in the country. People are educationally, socially, and economically backward. Eradication of poverty is our prime goal. We need to fulfill the requirement of basic infrastructure towards the affordable houses, clean water, sufficient health ecosystem, holistic education, and accessible mass public transport for our citizens. We need to study locally available resources, raw materials, and minerals, and we should think of how this can be utilized to fulfill the need of the region, which technology is available to make usable product. What will be the demand and what will be the export potential? By this, more and more industries and so employment will be generated, which ultimately bring prosperity on the region. Indian human intellectual power is well recognized and appreciated all over the world, and you are our biggest asset. I am concerned about the brain drain phenomena. Our engineers are highly paid in America, Europe, and many Middle East countries. There are state-of-art facilities and financial support for research and development work. So it is natural you are preferred to work there. But it is true with improving ease of living, ease of doing business, all developments, all inclusive policy, infrastructure development steps, good bilateral relationship, and global stand, India is now becoming a favorable destination for global investment, commercial activities, manufacturing hub, and supply chain. We are encouraging innovation, research, and technology in shaping the future of all sectors. Surely, your role is participation and contribution will be well accommodated and recognized in the nation building mission. At last, we must collectively work to fulfill the dreams of Sir Vishwesvaraya. I wish you all the success in every task you undertake in the interest of the nation. I and my ministry is always welcome you to share your technical ideas, innovations, qualitative suggestions and solutions, and volunteer participation for any improvement in the system. With these words, I am thankful to the Kerala chapter of Vigyan Bharati for inviting and providing me this platform to share my views with all engineering fraternity on the occasion of Engineers Day. I bring my all best wishes to all of you for your good future. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir, for your support, motivation, and blessings. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to be with us. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. David C.K., General Manager Civilians, to give the vote of thanks.
Hello, ma'am. Can I audible?
Yes, David, you are audible.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Nitin Gadgiri, respected guest of honor, Dr. Sir, all other dignitaries present here, and all participants. It is such an honor to get the opportunity to express a thankfulness to all of you. I extend my gratitude to Honorable Chief Guest, Sri Nitin Gadgiri, to take out time from his busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your words on this special day. Special thanks to Mr. P.A. Vivekananda Pai, National Secretary, Vijnan Bharati, Dr. B. Sridevi, former Director, NATPAC, Dr. Vijayan Pilla sir, Director, Naval Physical and Oceanographic Laboratory, Dr. Sanjeevan, President, Swadeshi Science Movement, Engineer Harim, General Secretary, Kerala Self-Financing Engineering College Management Association, Mr. Krishna Kumar S., Chairman, Indian Concrete Institute, Trivandrum Center, Dr. K. Balan, Chairman, Indian Geotechnical Society, Trivandrum Chapter, Dr. K. Soman, President, Energy Conservation Society, Dr. N.C. Induchudan, State President, Vidyabhyasa Vikas Kendra, to have with us on this special occasion. I must thank the organizing team for working hard for the past few days to make this event successful. It extends my gratitude to all participants out there who are eagerly waiting for the quizzing events to start. Thank you, Almighty, for making all that happen in due course of time. Thank you all.